Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to continue our cunning compound contest. And in particular, we're going to take a look at 3M Super Duty compound. And we're going to see if it breaks into our top three, our podium, our medals table. And speaking of that, what we have so far is Sonax, top spot. Very close second goes to Angel Wax Resurrection. In the bronze position, we have Griot's Garage. That's the Boss Fast Correcting Cream. And then honorable mention, Jescar 3D HD Plus, Car Pro, and The Last Cut. And I got to tell you, any one of these guys are excellent compounds. They won't do you wrong. I did not forget the out of left field category, and that still belongs to Wizards. And I got to tell you, when this is nearing the end of the series, we are going to put these top three head to head on one large panel, and I will include Wizards just for the fun of it. So stay tuned. But for now, let's take a look at 3M Heavy Duty Compound. 3M Super Duty Compound is a 32-ounce container for $26. It claims to be able to remove 1,000 grit sand marks or higher, has a high rate of cut with very low chance of swirl marks. It's designed for automobile or marine for correcting clear coat or gel coat, has no fillers, no silicone. All right, now, like I always do, I'm going to take a little bit of the product, spread it out on a panel. I want to know if I can see those abrasives, feel them between my fingers, and I'll bring you in closer. You can actually see the abrasives. I could feel it already, and a high percentage of the time, guys, that's going to mean there's going to be a little bit of dusting to a lot of dusting, and sometimes even means there's going to be a little bit of hazing left behind. Not always the case, though. That's why we complete this testing. That's what it's all about. We get to see these compounds in action compared to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 5 sections. They all will have different sanding marks. I'm starting right here with the 2500 grit. We're going to go all the way down to an 800 grit section. And that's not really, the compounds aren't made to remove damage like that, sanding marks like that. But I tell you, it sure is fun to watch some of these compounds attempt to correct those areas. Some of them get really far. Some of them are very impressive. A lot of them start to fail at the 1000 grit section. There are 1 or 2 that get weak in the 1500 grit section. And I've even seen one that gets weak in the 2000 grit section. And keep in mind, these are the heavy cut compounds, the heavy duty compounds. We will go over finishing compounds, finishing polishes. I know some of you guys are chomping at the bit to take a look at some of those. We'll start up a series with those as soon as we wrap up this one. All right, let me remove this clear coat residue. I'll get rid of the masking tape that divides these sections, and we'll get started on the testing. Okay, so to get this started, we'll put 3 pea-sized drops on just a regular 3-inch foam orange cutting pad, a standard one. It's going to be attached to the Flex XFE 71280 3-inch polisher. And we're going to run it this way because I want the compound to do the brunt of the work. I don't want an aggressive pad like a microfiber cutting pad. I don't want an aggressive long throw polisher to do the work. I want it all thrown on the compound. Plus, some of these panels aren't really big enough for larger pads and polishers. So we're going to take one run from the 2500 grit section all the way down through the 800 grit, and we're going to make a return trip. Slow, exaggerated arm movements, just like we would be when we correct. I just have my hands there to guide it, not a ton of pressure. We have the machine on mid-speed. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to power down the polisher while I keep it on the surface. No need to tear up our pads in the machine. And I'll grab the camera, bring you in close. We'll take a look at what residue is left behind. And I can still feel a little bit of the product left in there. We could have made a couple more passes where some of the compounds are already spent. Not really a lot of dusting. There is some on the edges, a little bit more than a lot of the top compounds. So let's see how we can remove the residue. Seems a little bit harder to wipe off than some of the other compounds, but no big deal really. So let's take a look at these sections. Okay, it blazed through the first few sections, 2500 grit, 2000, 1500. But you will notice as we get to the 1000 grit section, this is where it really started to fail rather quickly. And to keep up with the top dogs, the top compounds in this division, it's going to have to burn through that. And you can see it really struggled here in this section, which all of them do. I'm going to get as many angles as I can using the light so you guys can see, and if you pay attention, you'll take notice of some hazing left behind where it just doesn't quite finish as far as a lot of the top compounds that we test do. That will get covered a little bit more as we get to the second part of our testing, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to reload the pad. We're going to work on these last two sections, the 800 grit, the 1000 grit sections, but we'll work it for a longer period of time, an extended period of time. And what we want to see here is how long the compound works, what its open time or its working time is. We'll see if we can catch some significant dusting, see what kind of residue we have left over, and then we'll see how easy it is to remove that residue, and then check out what work it has been able to accomplish underneath. See what it's done on those two sections. By the way, this Flex Polisher has been just a Cadillac for me. It's been a workhorse. It's nice and smooth. It's durable. Now, it is quite pricey, so if you're starting out, I recommend maybe looking into the Griot's Garage 3-inch polisher or something in that caliber. And when you're a little bit more established, when you have money starts to roll in for you, when you're working and bringing in some cash, look into this Flex XFE 71280 3-inch polisher. It's a beast. It works great. Works great in tight areas, bumpers, door jambs, curvy areas, contours, shapes on the panels, and you can attach anything to it, a microfiber, a foam cutting pad, finishing pads, polishing pads. I'll put a link down below if you want to look into it a little bit further. Again, we power down the unit and we keep it attached until oscillation and rotation is stopped. And I'll grab the camera, bring you in close. Okay, where most of the compounds would leave a clear, transparent, oily residue behind, the 3M leaves milky, chalky residue behind. And there's a little bit of dusting. Not a whole lot, but it would really have to cut down to be one of the top compounds. And removing the residue is a little bit more of a chore than I'd like it to be. And as you can see here, there is hazing left behind. You would have to finish this up. A compound like this, I could see being teamed up with a rotary, using a wool pad, do some quick cutting, put the rotary down, grab a DA, finish it up with a fine polishing foam pad, and you should be good to go. Okay guys, again, that was the 3M heavy duty compound. I'll put a link down below if you want to take some more time and look into it further. Does it break into our podium, the top three? And actually nothing changes on the podium. Sonax will keep that top spot. A very close second, Angel Wax Resurrection, Griot's Garage from the Boss system. And we have Jescar 3D HD Plus, The Last Cut, and Carb Pro. Again, these are all excellent compounds. You can buy all, you can buy one, you can buy any. Don't forget the Out of Left Field belongs to Wizards. And at the end of this series, these three top guys are going to go head to head on one big panel to see who the champion is. And for the fun of it, I'll include Wizards. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.